how's it going today? Today I'm here to give you July's wrap-up. So this month I did not read a ton, but I did get back into reading. If you didn't notice on my channel, I did not upload a TBR for this month or a wrap-up for June. So that sucks, but I had a lot going on. I needed to do some other things. I also got into playing Stardew Valley, and if you know anything about that, it is life sucking. I love it, but I'm excited that I've gotten back into reading again, and I just wanted to get back on track and see what I read this month. The first thing I read this month was How to Make Friends with the Dark by Kathleen Glasgow. This is a, I think, middle grade book. It went on sale April of this year, so April 2019. The back of the book says, "Here's what happens when your mother dies. It's the brightest day of summer and it's dark outside. It's dark in your house, dark in your room, and dark in your heart. You feel like the darkness is going to split you apart. That's how it feels for Tiger. It's always been Tiger and her mother against the world. Then, on a day like any other, Tiger's mother dies, and now it's Tiger alone. Here is how you learn to make friends with the dark." From the author of the powerful and heartbreaking novel Girl in Pieces comes a story about an ordinary girl who loses everything in an instant and how she must learn to live it all over again. It was a very heavy-hitting book, if you can't tell. I think it takes a couple chapters for her mother to actually pass, but that's not really a spoiler because it's all over the book. This is an arc that I received from Goodreads. I won it in a giveaway. It was the first giveaway I ever won on there, which was really cool. The cover is gorgeous. I've seen the actual hardcover finished version and it is beautiful. It looks great. I've held it in my hands. I might pick it up someday whenever I've got like a really nice bookshelf to put it in. Right now I'm just kind of using a little bitty bookshelf. I've got a lot of organizing to do as far as my bookshelves go. I can't wait to show you that. That'll be a video in itself when I actually get a new bookshelf. It's 422 pages long, so it doesn't even feel that long, honestly. It took me a while to get through this one, not because it's bad, but because it is so hard-hitting, and I knew that it was going to be, but I did not anticipate how it was going to affect me personally the whole time, and I've never really read a story that was meant to be so emotional. I normally read, you know, horror or mystery thriller and a bit of romance and manga thrown in there, but this one was pretty hard-hitting for me. The girl was around a little bit older when my husband, he lost his father when he was very young, and a lot of bad things happened because of that. So I just really identified listening to her situation, her with him, and it made it much more closer to home to me to listen to her struggle and her going through the foster system and the good and bad that can come from that, mostly bad. It's just a really messed up system that we have going on, and it was very realistic. I didn't feel like it was childish, like, you know, most middle grade books, or a lot of them, they feel very juvenile, and they're kind of hard to read because of it, in my opinion. I'm trying to read more middle grade, more YA than I have been. I feel like it was very mature in its language for what it was. There were a bunch of instances where they would use hashtags. I felt like they fit, especially for this time, day and age. They may age not age very well, but for right now, I think it fits this book. She was using like hashtag orphan, like she was obviously very picked on, had a lot of issues in school, and she was, you know, insinuating what the girls were tweeting and putting on Instagram, like hashtag orphan and stuff. So I thought it fit very well, especially if you're the kind of person who gets in your own head and criticizes yourself. And, you know, while you're going through this big ordeal of, you know, pain and being sad, you're going to think that people are judging you, even if they aren't. So I think that this is a very good example of how a teen deals with tragedy and being mocked and treated like a object passed around. Be warned, this does have, of course, you know, trigger warnings for death of a parent and death in general. Some pretty suicidal / depressive thoughts, discussion inside of it. Really good spots of friendship in this. I think that there are some fantastic friendships formed in this. Overall, I just think this is a fantastic book to give to someone who can handle it mentally. If you know a younger kid who could handle this subject matter in a way that is not destructive, maybe read it for them. I think that it could be a very good, appreciate what you've got when you've got it without it being biblical, because I know a lot of those stories end up being biblical And if you just don't care about that, this is a good story to lean towards. It's very beautiful and well sculpted. I could imagine every scene very well. It just took a while for me to get through because it was so heavy hitting. And personally, knowing someone who's went through that made it a lot harder. I cried a lot reading this book. It's just inevitable. So if you're ready to cry, I recommend picking it up. I gave this one 4 stars. I had it at 5, but I took it down to 4 because I do think that the hashtag talk could be dated very badly, and that got me to thinking about it. So I do think that it will date not as well as maybe they think, but it still is 4 or 5-ish stars for me. Very, very good book. Very heart-wrenching and very moving and touching, and of course beautiful to look at. So highly recommend this one if you're interested. Next, I read a couple of graphic novels. I have Fruits Basket Volume 13 and Fruits Basket Volume 14. These continue the story of Toru Honda and how she interacts with the family members of the Chinese zodiac. If you don't know anything about this series, I highly, highly recommend that you pick up the first volume or watch the new anime that's coming out. It was created way back in the day. I picked it up when I was in high school, and it just really, really stuck to me, and I've started rereading it again. So I'm on volume 15 right now. Yes, and there are 23 in total. So I'm not too far away from finishing it again. These books are fantastic. You get through them super fast because manga is so easy to just fly through. So I got through 2 this month because I am reading a ton of other things. I'm currently almost finished with 15, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna work on 16 as well. Written and illustrated by Natsuki Takuya. She is a fantastic writer and artist. And this one has Rin on the front, who is my favorite female character because she is the horse, which you have not met in the anime yet. Spoiler, I guess, I'm sorry. Carino, who is the rooster, even though it's a sparrow. I can't remember why they chose a sparrow. I'm sure they explain it, but I just can't remember it. These are always fantastic. 5 stars for both of them. Highly, highly recommend the series. It is heart-wrenching. It is gorgeous. It is funny. It is lighthearted and also really hard-hitting at the same time. Very, very funny. It's just one of those shows that I feel like helped mold who I am as a person and makes me just want to be a good person all around. And yeah, it's just a really good show, and it means a lot to me, and I'm really happy that I'm rereading it because it is so good. And it's going to keep me up to date with the anime. Whenever I'm watching it, I'm going to be like, oh man, they chose to do that in a different way. And that's already happened so far, and I've really been enjoying the take that the new anime has been taking. And the next book that I read this month was Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. Okay, let me just say, I saw a post on Instagram of a penny a page sale that Books A Million was having, and I had no idea. I was like, oh my god, I did not know this was a thing. And so I made sure it was the same day, 3 hours before closing. So we ran up to Books A Million, and since we were members, we got a book a piece on, like, it depends on, like, if you have 4 people using the same account, like your millionaire club card or whatever it is, they can each get 1 book and pay a penny per page. So this book is 390 pages-ish, something like that, about 400 pages. I paid less than $4 for this, and I got a discount, like my 20% off based on my millionaire card. So I paid nothing for this book, and it's like a $14.99 brand new book. I was ecstatic. Like, I have been hearing so many good things about this book, and I was so excited to check it out. I am very new to the romance genre. I am very turned off by the typical romance book cover with like the hot buff dude and like a woman just like draping on him. Like, I just hate the look of the men mostly. Like, that is not my body type. I don't go for that. Even if it's written that way, I can kind of just ignore the description and make my own man or whatever. Because, you know, we're all imagining whoever we want to imagine in these books. I love the new illustrative covers that a lot of these romances are taking, especially the contemporary ones. It makes me want to read it. It makes me want to physically buy it. I don't understand the psychology behind that, but I hope that more people are doing this because I'm going to buy them. I like the story so much, y'all. Like, I heard it was very steamy and smutty. It is definitely not for kids. Do not buy this book for a child. It is an adult book. Adult. It looks innocent and fun, and it is very fun, but it is definitely not innocent. I've heard so many polarizing ideas on this book, and it kind of hurts my feelings. I'll be honest, this is like my number 2 favorite book I've ever read so far. Yeah, it's that good for me. The problems I've heard people say with it is him calling her baby girl, which that's just an endearing term. He's not literally calling her a baby girl. I don't understand that argument, but I guess if you have it, it's just your opinion. You know, everyone has opinions. I just don't get it. But, you know, the baby girl thing didn't bother me. I kind of dig it. I like pet names. She wasn't that much younger than him, so it wasn't like pedo or anything, so it wasn't creepy. People had a lot of complaints about her being mentioned as his best friend's little sister a lot. Like, it got brought up a lot. And the only reason that got brought up a lot was justifiably so because she's trying to prove that she's not a child anymore. And like, people keep treating her like she's a little kid or her brother's little sister. And I don't know if these people just never had older siblings or they were the youngest, but I personally was the youngest in my family. I really identified with Georgie because it is really hard as the youngest, even if you're not that much younger sometimes, to get your family to take you seriously. They don't listen to what you're saying. They kind of, you know, when you're a little bitty, like a little toddler, no one listens to you because you just jabber, 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 jabber. So they can't listen to everything you say. They go nuts. So it kind of is hard to get out of that and make people take you seriously as an adult when you're the little baby your entire life. Like, even if you're 30 years old, you're still the baby because you're the youngest. And I totally identify with that. I identify with her character so much because she's like in her 20s and no one listens to her, even if she's trying to have a legit, intelligent conversation with adults, and they just don't take her seriously. They don't want to help her with anything. They don't come to her family meals that she plans, even though she's trying to start a new tradition. Just very simple things that an adult wants to do, and she's not taken seriously. And so I feel like that's very important that she is mentioned as his little sister, because that's important to her character and how she is viewed by society. I think that's very appropriate. Also, my only complaint with this book, which I have heard a couple people talk about this, I will say there was a line in this book, I can't remember what page it's on, but it's somewhere around the middle of the book, I think, where he, of course there's like sex scenes in this, where he's like getting her started, you know, for the thing they're about to do. And he says something about get ready to see the face of God. That was a little weird. Like, he's very, very sexy in the bedroom, and he's not cocky outside of the bedroom, so I really don't think that's a problem. I think cockiness outside of the bedroom is very unsexy, but he wasn't. He was kind of self-conscious and very depressed, honestly. So I feel like cockiness in the bedroom is totally fine, and it was very nice. I enjoyed that. The only thing about that line is it was just like, didn't fit. It really didn't fit his level of cockiness, I don't think, in my opinion, but, you know, you can ignore the one line that wasn't appropriate, I guess. But other than that, the smut was fantastic. The sexy talk was great. I feel a little weird talking about a sexy book on my channel, but if you're not an adult, you don't have to watch this, and you don't need to read this for sure. But if you are an adult and you like a good contemporary smut, fun, safe to read in public book, this is what I recommend. Highly, highly recommend it. I gave it 5 stars, no questions asked. I loved it the entire ride. Only had that one line that I complained about, and it was just weird, not even bad. But I love it. I love it so much, and I just can't wait to read more of Tessa Bailey's work. Like, this is so good. And this is her first book cover with this kind of cover too, so that's interesting to me that this is the first one I've picked up. The next book she's coming out with is called Love Her or Lose Her, and I definitely want to pick that one up. I think it has a very similar cover, like illustrative cover on the front, and I'm very excited to check that one out as well. And that's it for this wrap up. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps me know what kind of videos you guys like to see, and please, 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 please subscribe to my channel. I love doing these videos. It's a good way for me to just like have my own little book club or like talk about books, because I don't really have any friends within my vicinity that read like I do. I've got people who are very, very casual readers, but I read a lot more than most people I'm around, at least that I know of. And I don't really have anyone to buddy read with or discuss books with. So this is just a fun way for me to get that out there and talk about the things that I care about, and just kind of gush about books that are coming out and whatever. And I watch a ton of booktubers that do the same thing, and it's just really fun. But yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.